the market positioned going into the election results of Saturday, you think? Is it pricing in stability or is it pricing in uncertainty?
I think both of it. I mean, to a great extent, the continuation of the current regime is definitely priced in, and I would think that if there is a complete chaos in the results, there would be a setback to the market. But at the same time, market is also giving some probability to some kind of uncertainty.
Raamdeo, morning. Just to scratch that point for a bit, what do you think is the market's biggest fear right now? That whichever combination comes to power is an unstable one and in that sense short-lived, or that there is an unknown factor that comes to power?
I think one of the things is that in the last combination and last 4-5 years, presence of left had, it is perceived that presence of left kind of took away the initiatives from the government in terms of reforms and things like that. So their presence, and since they are pretty large, even if they are somewhat reduced, I think that is one thing which people are scared about. And if by chance there is any probability of third front coming in, then again some kind of uncertainty, the weakness of leadership. I think what is important is, can this coalition, whichever comes in, can it throw a strong leader as a prime minister, and will it be stable for 5 years? So I think all these things will be answered in 3-4 days. So it's very it's a situation where touch and go kind of thing. So but I think on the whole market will weather this thing quite well.
Exactly the question which I was asking someone a while back, Raamdeo, that if on Monday you find out that it is the UPA, maybe with a broader coalition, but it includes the left, will the market heave a sigh of relief that it's not the third front and move on? Or would it not feel so good about the fact that there is once again left participation in the government?
I think if UPA comes back, even with the support of left at any point of time, I think more than the domestics, I think foreigners will have a lot of relief, and the money which is waiting, the money which is not coming in because of event risk, that should flow in very smoothly. So I would think that on the whole it will be positive.
The numbers for Motilal Oswal look a bit disappointing this time, Raamdeo, specifically on the brokerage segment. I mean, even sequentially, it's down 12%. What exactly happened with the brokerage division in specific?
I think we had probably one of the worst months in Jan-Feb in terms of brokerage intake. Though the costs were very much under control. But just that brokerage intake was very bad I think by far the lowest in February, and March also was somewhat muted recovery. We have seen much bigger recovery in the month of April, but I think Jan, Feb, March, all the 3 months were pretty bad in terms of brokerage revenue.
To what extent have things picked up, Raamdeo, and what kind of gauge do you have on retail HNI sentiment? Is there a lot of cash that you sense is lying with clients which might come in if the market falls or gives you a correction, or did you see a lot of volume uptick in the current quarter that you're sitting on?
Yeah, we are seeing significant uptick in the month of April, but just it's a 4-week kind of uptick, and the base was very low in March, so you cannot read into the percentages. And I think as far as the stability and formation of larger trend is concerned, I think we have to wait and see how stable is the market. I think it is not the upward trend which is important. What is important is the stable ground. Does it stabilize at 11,000, 12,000? Can you take it for granted that markets will not go below particular level, so that confidence starts emerging that this is the table and let's start participating. So I think that's the hesitation, skepticism which is there right now.
So what are you telling your clients now when they call with that question? Are you telling them that even if there's a correction, the Sensex will not go significantly below 10,000 this time around? Are you able to assure your clients with that conviction of yours?
It's very tough to convince anybody in terms of where the market is headed. I think they're going to take their own call. I think what is required is that market must remain above 10-11,000 for quite some time. That itself is a bigger message than whatever I say or anybody else say, because I had always maintained that even at the bottom that pessimism is so deep that you can't go wrong buying into those kind of markets. But since I had gone wrong, I mean, same thing probably I was saying even at 15,000, 16,000. So obviously people didn't believe us. But I think they're going to take their own call as the market stabilizes.
Just want to get your thoughts on the earnings picture as well, Raamdeo. Post Q4, there's been a lot of talk about putting the worst behind us, how FY10 might actually be a more positive surprise than people were expecting. Did you come away feeling that?
I think Q4 results are definitely better than what we had projected, and particularly in some segments like as expected banking, cement. I think cement was a huge outperformer compared to what was the expectations by our analyst. FMCG was pretty big, and some one or two companies like Hero Honda or Jaiprakash. So there were a few outliers in terms of positive performances. So on the whole, I think year on year Q4 was matching with that of last year's Q4 and significantly better than Q3. So my sense is that we are seeing a stabilization in corporate profitability. Unless there is some big event which reverses the whole thing, I see at least Q1, Q2 shaping up more in the, sequentially things will be stable to somewhat better, but vigorous growth of 25-30% in the earnings still not visible.
Just for your industry though, Raamdeo, people are feeling a little more bullish about brokerages this quarter because of the burst they've seen in volumes. How have you read this big increase in volume action? Because some indicate that it's probably HNI interest that's picked up along with trader interest, of course.
There are two aspects of it. One is positive, that is absolute numbers. I think last quarter was something like average for the last month was more like 62,000 crores for the whole month compared to about 88,000 crores against 62,000 crores. So that's a huge growth in terms of value. But what has happened is composition of the turnover, which is a lot more option oriented and index futures and option, which is far lesser in terms of brokerage content. So the total revenue growth is not bigger than that of last year, though in terms of value it looks to be very big. So steadily, surely what is happening is that market is shifting towards F&O and the low brokerage bearing volumes, and the cash volume underlying, which is much more brokerage rich, and that's where the brokers do a lot better, whether it is HNI or small investors. I think that segment is yet to flourish big time.
That's an important point, Raamdeo, that you mentioned. The fact that even in April, when your revenues have picked up, it's coming largely from the F&O segment, not in the cash segment. Are you then saying that it's traders who have probably tried to latch on to this market up move, but investors still remain quite shy and they haven't participated to the extent that it appears on the screen?
You can broadly say so, then, because the participation a lot more in the larger caps, mega caps, and the stocks which were there in F&O. So they broadly are top 100, 200 companies of the market. But trickle down into mid cap and small cap, where the masses and the retail, they kind of thrive. I think that segment is yet to see that stabilization and PayP kind of feeling, where you start churning, you buy one, sell another, and then so-called book profits and move on to the next one. I think that game is yet to pick up fully.